Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to free practice 3 from the Mexico Grand Prix. Again, this is Grash talking to you today. I am in for free practice 3. Not expecting to do qualification of the race, so just give you guys heads up. That's probably Ryan tomorrow and later today. Things to note as we go into free practice 3. Some things from yesterday that stand out. From Austin, of all things, we have Stroll with a three-place grid penalty to be aware of with a crash with Alonso from then. We have a five-place. This is confirmed that Kevin Magnussen is going to have a five-place via power unit change. That's because Fitzo Andrapaldi basically was driving his car when that power unit gave out. Um, as of yet, I don't have what we know that Leclerc basically binned it yesterday. I don't have everything that what his grid penalties will be, but we'll find out shortly, and probably most likely through this session, where those if those confirmations have been put out. So we're coming up on session right now. The other big thing about we're gonna see a lot of teams doing a lot of work during this session, because FP2 was basically for most teams on the prototype tires. So one of the things that they can't do during that session is to fiddle with the car. Basically, they had to use the car as is for the whole session. So FP2 is pretty much, with the exception of maybe Russell or um, Ocon and Soto, who were the top three, they were able to use regular tires. So it now falls to this session to really dig into the car and to get it set up into a way that it needs to be set up for qualification in the race. So again, as usual, if you guys have any questions for me in chat, just at me in chat with them. And we're getting close to the session start. Trying to see who's coming out on track right away. FP3 is not a tire test. That was FP2, coming from chat. So basically, they need to dial in and get the car right for qualification and the race tomorrow. So, oddly enough, I think Zhao is only on the track. If we're looking by the map, looks like Bottas and Zhao are the only two that have gone out onto track so far. A lot of drivers are not in their car. Albon, the Ferrari drivers, Latifi is not in his car. Um, no, um, Stroll's not mid. He's a back marker. Aston Martin's a back marker team, unfortunately, right now. Um, let's see. This is very odd. Yeah, the only Alfa Romeo is out right now, and I don't know why. It's clear skies. Few puffy clouds in the sky as I look around the autodrome. I don't know why teams are not out. Looks like Aston Martin and Vettel are now on track if you look at the timing sheet. Again, the question about Stroll is, I mean, like he has days where he's really good, but there's a lot of days where he's not consistent, and that's the thing about Stroll. Um, he could be a lot better, and he's not. And that's one of the weird things about Stroll. Um, so uh, uh, common question in chat is when is quali? Quali is going to be later this afternoon. It's probably going to be if I do my math right, it's probably be 3 hours from now, 4 p.m. Well, 4 p.m. Eastern time, so it's again 3 hours from now, approximately 3 hours from now, from wherever time you're at right now. So Bottas is on the board with a fast lap already with a 121, 462, and he's doing that on a medium tire. The timing board probably has lag of information at the moment, but he is working on a medium tire, and I know it's showing a test tire for 16 laps. That's not possible already. So Zhao is already back into the pits, and I'm wondering what if they found something they didn't like. They needed to adjust something right away. So right now we have Bottas on the track, and then Stroll and Vettel on their out laps right now, with Stroll now coming back into the pit without setting a time. So is Vettel. Yeah, I'm a little again, there's been not been a lot of action in the first 5 minutes. I thought there'd be more cars out. Hamilton's now on his out lap. Well, we talk about Aston Martin. They're one of the three teams that breached the cost cap. Now, again, The cost cap can be breached one of two particular ways, and the first one we're dealing with mostly with Red Bull is overspending. But there is procedural ways to to breach the cost cap, and these don't mean you overspend. It means you've done some sort of paperwork in some particular way wrong. The first example we have, we were told, was with Williams, and this was in May. Um, and they were given basically one of a subunit of the Williams ownership didn't file their paperwork in time. They rectified that, and they were only fined 200. I'm sorry, $2,500,000. Aston Martin is an interesting, interesting scenario. Um, I actually need to go. So I'm going to read the article. Quote: Aston Martin were found to incorrectly excluded or adjusted costs pertaining to the building of the new headquarters, a new F1 simulator, wind tunnel fees, R&D tax credit, signing bonus costs, transferable components, used inventories, service desk costs, costs of catering services at one of their headquarters, cost of desks and chairs, and sponsor services and outsourced personnel services. So there was a whole slew of things um, that they've done wrong, and ultimately they've I think will rectify that. So fix up the documents, and they were fined $450,000 for that. So we can see the step up from Williams, a very minor issue, to Aston Martin, to all sorts of things not being done correctly, to now to Red Bull, who did overcost. So and of course with the overcost they have also procedural breaches. So Red Bull was fined $7 million and a 10% of wind tunnel time. So Red Bull's only the one getting the 10% wind tunnel time because that's the overcost part of the cost breach issue that's going on. That's 10% development time, wind tunnel time, um, and that will eventually affect the team. There's no if, ands, or way to put it. Um, we will see. This is a place where if you were looking for Ferrari and Mercedes or any other team to get a jump on Red Bull, here's the point that's going to happen. It won't be effective. It will be effective going into next year's car, next year's development, and it might have a lagging effect on the 2024 car. And that's the best way to look. That's the best way to look at how this is going to play out. So that's a big knife, into the team. Um, so it will be interesting to see how the team responds and how things go from there. We're now going into the 10-minute, almost the 10-minute mark, about 9 minutes into the session. And basically, we're at the 120 mark on the board. Leclerc is a 120.4. A few hundreds of a section faster is Bottas. Uh, I'm sorry, Hamilton is 120.5, 505, and Bottas is 129.08. So we're in tenths and hundreds of the section, hundreds of a second zone with these guys at the top of the board. The next three, Schumacher, Ricardo, basically they're in the 121s already, getting out on these flying laps. Um, Again, Sainz out there, he's starting a flying lap right now. He's got two purple sections, S1, S2. Perez looks like he's being highlighted right now on stream. He's getting a flying lap. He is 28.04. So he's slightly faster than Hamilton, but not as quick as Sainz. Sainz now going P1. green section 3, but he does a 1.19. Um, so times are tumbling pretty quickly in the session from where they were before. Perez doing another green section. Science is doing another flying lap. He's fast in the first section, 27.7 seconds in that. No, Leclerc's not going to crash again. It's going to take something. It will probably be something in the race. If he crashes again, it would be something in the race that happens. Um, but he basically he knows the limit of what that car can do. I mean that's what that crash is like. He knows what the limit, what he can do, and he's gonna build back up to that limit. And he won't. I don't think he won't do something until something in the race requires to push him. Interesting. Russell is right now on a early lap. Russell going P1 with a purple sector 2, sector 3, time of 1.19405. I want to thank everyone who's come to the stream and is watching right now. If Saints coming back into the pit, trying to see and there's a yellow flag. Sector 2 looks like someone that's been cleared up pretty quickly, so it looks like someone's spun. We'll get a replay soon of what that may be. And while we have a chance, while we wait for that confirmation of what happened there, thank you all for coming. There's over like 1,250 in chat watching right now. Several of you in chat. I want to thank you all for coming. Um, if you get a chance, those are in chat, hey, drop in. What time is it for you, and where you're coming from? A replay now with Hamilton, and he just basically just went off track. He went wide. And that probably what generated the yellow flag. So I'm seeing people coming from England and South Africa right now. I am from the United States. I'm in the Eastern time zone, so I'm at 1:14 p.m. for me right now. Track time is noon. It's like 12:15 track time there in the Central time zone. So and same as Austin, Central time zone. Ocon looks like he's starting a flying lap so far. And we have who's this? One of the Haas's has spun, and it's Mick Schumacher. He's not telling me what turn that was on. Yeah, so we had a yellow flag for a moment there. Mick Schumacher has spun. Did he hit anything? No, does not. He basically is able to break the car, recover. So it's just a matter of tires right now. He was on a soft compound, so that's going to affect things going forward. Um, it's one less soft compound he's not going to have. So from chat, we're looking at the W13 is reaching speeds of 345 kilometers per hour. That's interesting to hear. And amazingly, Sky has gone right to Gunther right after Mick has spun. That is brutal. So one of the seats, so in the silly season that we've had, which has been extremely silly, and it's not just been a silly season in F1. It's been silly over in IndyCar as well. Um, get into that in a moment. But there are two seats up in the air still. The first one is Williams, and that's that's basically just waiting on if Logan Sargent gets his super license. We won't know until the end of the year when they race at Abu Dhabi. The other seat is the Haas seat that Mick Schumacher is in, and we do not know if Haas is going to keep him. And Haas has been very diplomatic in saying um, we don't need to make a decision because we don't have to make a decision. So we really won't know until the end of the season if Mick Schumacher is going to retain his seat or not. Um, right now, I would put the meet the at the put the meter at basically not likely to keep his seat. Um, the spins that we see here not going to help him. So they're talking Gunther about quality, strategy. Like, do you want to be out early? Do you want to be out later? And he's like, you want to be out later because you are in control of um of your fate if you're on track, basically. Um, I know Vettel has gone out on track, got set in the fastest lap and pulled into the pits without going out again and held it for pole. Um, that's not going to happen. We've got Carlos dealing with one of the McLarens, uh, and he was dealing with him before coming into the pits. So we're almost got about 1,400 watching now. Well, I'll be breaching that higher very quickly. If you guys could do us a favor, you can like this this video. It does the channel a great deal good. If you're enjoying the content you're seeing here, joining the community that we have, make sure you subscribe and join our Discord channel. And those who are interested, I will be dropping that link into chat for you. It is also in the description. So about 20 minutes into the session already, we've got Russell, Perez, and Sainz on the board, and Leclerc. So the Ferraris of Red Bull and Russell all out. They've done a 119, and the next is Hamilton with a 120. Hamilton a full second behind Russell so far, which is odd of the seven-time world champion. You can add your personal jokes about Hamilton to those who hate him, and praises for those who love him. We have a poll now out. Is Perez and Sainz are in the same car? Who wins? And the options are: you can go Perez, you can go with Sainz, or it's going to be tied. And that's a good question. That's a good question. They are both great drivers. Both winners this year, no less. I think Perez has one more win. Which again, this is Red Bull has 15 wins over the course of the season already. With Perez having 2 wins, and I believe Sainz one. If I'm wrong, correct me on where else Sainz won. But I'm going with that tied on this one. And Verstappen is on track. He has a purple sector 2. See how he's doing as he comes up to the line. And he does a green sector 3, which is enough to get him a 1.929, which is P2. Again, F1 is showing on stream, and Sky is showing on stream that if Max Verstappen were to win today, this weekend, or in the next 2 races, he would set a new record for number of wins in a season. So the current record is 13, held by Schumacher. He's tied with that right now. A new win would set a new record. He has actually been asked about that, and he is very much brushed it off. And he points to, well, that's, the records don't mean much. We're driving in more races, so I have more chances to win. And it is very much that is the case. Um, it's a cool, calm, collected response to that question. Um, you know, what good does it do him if he does, and what good does it do if he doesn't? I mean, he's already the world champion. That's the most important thing in terms of the driver. You're the world champion. His team has won the the constructors championship, so he's done his job for his team. So it's bragging rights. Ultimately, it will be bragging rights. And he's going to break it with 3 races left. He's going to win one of these 3 races. I would be surprised if he doesn't break that record. So this is him being calm, collected, but it's also measure respect to other drivers before him. To drivers before him, to the Schumachers and the other, to other multi-winner. Also to Vettel as well. Vettel has come close to that record as well. So um, he's not wrong. He is being very calm and collected, and that's the thing that I'm trying to get you guys to come across with. Just looking through chat and see if you guys had any questions for me. Yeah, as I was talking about Sainz and uh, Perez, someone was saying that yeah, he's a controversial topic. So we've got a comment in chat about if they said on Sky if he wins the remaining three races, he will have the best win percentage for a season, and that is actually um, that's a huge deal because that means the win percentage is how we can match up drivers from different seasons against each other, and have a more of a laying playing field on, because X driver only had 10 races and this driver had only had 23. The win percentage is how we do is how that's going to level the playing field between those two. So we can have a conversation. It's a more of an apple and apple comparison in that case than looking at the pure data. In that case. We have a question about if we're covering qualification. Yes, we are, and that will be again in about 2.5 hours from now. I don't believe I am the one on. I'll be doing qualification unless no one else shows up. I will probably be there then. Uh, but I know we will be covering it. Um, you know, Telson, there's basically been no new updates since in the last 24 hours, but here's where we're at right now. We know that Williams breached cost cap in May. They were fined 250 sorry, 2500 sorry, $25,000 for that cost cap breach. Aston Martin did all sorts of boogeyman stuff with their requirements. Didn't overspend, but screwed up all sorts of different things on their financial documents. They were fined $450 thousand dollars for their procedural breach. The last case is Red Bull, and they did overspend after I said it was done. Um, and it was like again, there's two values. The first value you'll see is like a 1.6%. And then there's a tax credit that should have been applied. That drops it down to 0.3%. Take the value as you want, whether you're a Red Bull hater or lover. But they were over the cost. Either way, they were over the cost cap. There's procedural breaches as well as the overspend, and that the agreement ends up being a $7 million fine, and then a 10%, and that's the procedural side is the $7 million fine, and then a 10% reduction in development time because of the overspend. And that's the dagger, that's the knife cutting into Red Bull for having overspend. Now, I want to be very clear. One of the things that came with the Red Bull agreement, the FIA um, basically makes it clear that Red Bull in every shape or form uh, did everything in their power to basically there was no malice, there was no outright attempt from Red Bull to attempt to cheat, or to like basically FI said that Red Bull did everything they could to stay within cap, but didn't, and they didn't do so intentionally or with the um the intent to cheat. And that's something that's really important because, well, um, data got out from the FIA, and next, Mercedes, and then um, you've got the Brown letter, Zach Brown writing a letter about how um, if there was any overcost, it should be treated as cheating. Not saying Red Bull, but obviously pointed at Red Bull. So there's some pushback that Red Bull required the FIA to do um, because of what had happened, all the rumors that had happened going before. Uh, it- Horner, Horner says a lot of things, and he was probably sarcastic. He's very much so. And one of the things that Horner has said is that um, basically this is the first year for the cost cap, and this should have been done months ago. And the FIA has pushed this back, um, like months and months and months and months. So much so that they have actually expand the FBI has actually put more time in um had more to put more time into time and resources into this side. Again, this is the first year. A lot of things were not needed to be sorted out that like I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Red Bull's the only team that went over the cap. I thought more would be. And it looks like Aston Martin might have gotten close to that cap, given what they needed to respond to. Um, no, this is again. I don't. Can a overcost cap be cheating at 0.3%? Again, it's a the cost cap is. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you went over the cost cap. Um, it's you guys are looking at if Hamilton had another 2.2 million, it'd be an easy way. No, no, guys, no, guys. We're talking, that we're talking like less than 1%. I mean, the figure is in the five. We're looking at one figure that's 1.6%, and another which is 2.2 million, and then another figure that is $430,000. Point again, 0.43%. Very no. Um, this would not have affected the races. It wouldn't. Um, yeah, no. I mean, like if you guys want the data, go to the F1 website. Go look at the agreement. The agreement documents are out there at the F1. Uh, this is different. Okay, so guys, I know like 1 point is cheating. It doesn't matter the team extent. Now, and the great one is they bring up the wing from Hamilton last year, but that's a technical requirement. All right, let's be very clear. This is a technical requirement that has been on the grid for years. The cost cap has just been implemented. It's just been implemented. Yeah, but again, the rules are the rules. You break them, you pay the price. Well, the price for Red Bull is $7 million and a 10% reduction in development time, which includes wind tunnel time. You guys are missing the fact that they have been fined and they have been reduced reduced in wind tunnel time. 10% is a significant level. So I'm gonna just leave it at that of where things are at. So looking at Verstappen, Russell are in pit, Perez is on track, Sainz, Clerk, Hamilton is in the pit, Albon is in the pit, Albon is in P7. Schumacher is now P8, but he's almost a second and a half behind. Alonso, Sonata, they run out the top 10. Um, and they're the first two on medium tires. So there's definitely a group that have been running on the medium tires, and then we've got um, a group that is running on medium tires, and that they're more likely to be doing race runs um, than fast qualification setup. No, again, people are going to be are calling Red Bull cheaters. They didn't set out to cheat. I'm gonna be very clear. Like this is the one of the things with the FBI document. I know you may like or hate Red Bull. You may hate Red Bull, but it is they did not get away with the overcost. You know, they're gonna have a 10%. Again, they have a 10% reduction in cost in wind tunnel time and development time. It will affect next year's car. It will affect into the 2024 car because they're gonna that 10% is going to be it will affect the car. You will see it will this is if you guys were praying for something to knock on Red Bull for the Ferraris, for your Mercs, for your Alpine or your McLaren Grant fans. Here's your opening. You guys want to like talk about it. Here's your opening. Again, in chat is talking about introduce the between the small teams and big teams. Small teams don't close to the cap. How's that fair? Well, one of the things that's going on is that the cost cap is being reduced season by season to bring that closer to bring the big teams closer to where the smaller teams are at. Um, so basically, it is intended to not have an unlimited ceiling. Um, the best example I can give you is where we are right now is more like American baseball. Um, and basically, we've got some teams just are not going to make the cap no matter what they do. I've been watching Team X Marduk on the F2 the F1 manager game, and he's on about he's on he's on Williams, and basically he's not there's a cost cap, and obviously the big teams are going to hit that, but he's not hitting that at all. So here's Hamilton. Russell's got a fast sector 1. Hamilton has got a fast sector 2, so the Mercs are out, and Russell gets a 1.18399. Hamilton is a 1.18543, so about 0.5 150 thousandths of slower, but that's less than an eighth of a second. Hamilton, Russell still remains in P1. Hamilton takes P2 again, very very close. They're in the 118s. So these are the guys. They're honing the car for qualification. And there's a replay of looks like it's Russell, and there is some track looks still like a little bit dirty out there. There was some black dust around the tire, so we will see. Again, Max's did a 1.19, 119, 118. Um, yeah, Racing Statistics now showing our channel operator showing custom emotes that for subscribers, and basically the standings are basically as it is. Two Mercedes, two Red Bulls, two Ferraris. And if you are if you join we ask you to join, like and subscribe to the video. And if you haven't liked the video yet, do so now. There's only about 215 of you have liked the video. Um, subscribe if you like the channel. You want to have us in uh your subscriptions on YouTube, which is sometimes all you can. Yes. But there's also there are perks for joining the channel. I joined the channel. I'm actually one of the first people to join the channel over a year ago. And one of the perks for it is that you can do get access to a range of different emoticons. Some like the Max Reaction one. There's also an Aston Martin. There is a Alpine, but we have a Shoei and the box, which if Racing Statistics also puts in the chat, you can also get that on a mug. So if your favorite person comes in, you should use the box. And don't trust me. I've used those to death over and over again, and love them. So we're in the last third of the session, almost going to the last quarter of the session now, actually, where we're at. Again, just to recap, we've got again Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, all under 119 with Mercedes doing 118. In the 120s, we've got Norris jumping up into 118 now with P4. He had previously in the 120, and he's on a soft tire. Everyone else in the 120s: Albon, Schumacher, Alonso, Tsunoda, Bottas, all in 120s, and then everyone else has done a 121 so far. So we've got Williams on the track at the moment, and they are both on new soft compounds, if the timing sheet is correct. And it feels like they're doing their outbound laps at the moment. Tiffy doing a red sector 2, which is not necessarily great. In a slow red sector, 36 seconds as opposed to 31, 32 seconds and 30 seconds everyone else is doing. So these are definitely outbound laps. And if you look up the pinned comment that Race Ticket has, he's got the box emoji on a t-shirt. At some point I gotta get the mug, to be quite honest. So Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell are all now on out laps. They're now getting up to speed, getting their tires up to their temperature. And in the Albon was doing about 243, if Sky was showing that data correctly. There was a comment about if Russell or Hamilton get on pole, it would be a victory for Mercedes. Mercedes is not looking for poles. They're looking for an actual win. They're looking for the actual win. They're not looking for they'll take the pole. Don't get me wrong, but their goal is not just the pole, but to win. And we're looking at these last 3 races to get their only win of this season. Just looking right now. No changes till since Norris jumped into the fourth P4 position. Albin is second half off in 118. Bottas comes up. He's a second behind, 118.39. Ricardo, he's chasing Russell's sector 2 time. And he's almost 2 seconds behind. Ooh, Ricardo not having a good lap right now in comparison to Russell. You guys have any questions for me? Again, just to reset, there's about 13 minutes left in this session. If you got any questions for me, you can at me in chat. This is Grash. Grash Razor is my username. For those who are following in chat, I will type that out for you. Bottas has now jumped up to P5. Thanks for chat for pointing that out to me. I was typing. Just trying to keep an eye. Vettel's now on an outlap. Perez is now on an outlap. Stroll and Zhou are now on a outlap as well. Magnussen has set. He's P20. It looks like he came out, set a time, but he's like 3.5 seconds behind. And he's in the pits right now. So here comes Ricardo. He does half a second in P2. He's done a green sector 1, a green sector 2, and we will see as he comes around. Definitely already half second behind from sector 2. See how it goes. And he's at 1.7 seconds behind with a 1:21:39 in time. Dream. So, question in chat from King Choose. What is your dream podium finishers? Because we are in Mexico City, the dream would to have Checo win this race. It's the dream story. Checo wins. Failing that is we're looking at basically looking at Max being on the podium, and then take your pick after the third. You can take your pick for this race. So yeah, for this particular race, it's really, is Checo going to win or not? Someone has a dream podium: Hamilton, Alonso, Vettel, those most experienced drivers on the track. Another dream. Sorry, I'm reacting to the Sky One. They have focused on a fan with an origami-looking red. It's a bull mask and it's red. But if it was possible, and I don't think it is because the McLaren cars are not there, but having both of the McLarens on the podium, dude, give Ricardo a win on his way out. See another Stewie. That's going to be interesting next year, where we won't have a possibility for a shoey unless someone else is crazy enough to do it. We have Gasly coming on a flying lap right now, and he's doing in the first section. We'll see how he's about to come across the line for the first section. And he's a half a second faster than Russell. So he's about just 28 seconds in that first section. So Tsunoda actually doing a little faster than he is at the moment, by 1/10 of a second. Look, man. It is stupid. It is hygienic. The shoe is stupid hygienic. But if you're that crazy to do it, um, we'll love you for it, man. So word right now from chat, and I don't have confirmation of this, but they're saying that Ferrari is having some cooling issues. One of the Aston Martins got caught behind one of the I think it looked like uh AlphaTauri. F1 is showing Magnussen on track right now. So he has not been on track for a while. And he's in the first sector, and he'll be coming up to the line quickly. So we've got Tsunoda, Magnussen, and Hamilton all doing 343 kilometers per mile. That's equivalent to 213 miles per hour through the speed trap. Magnussen came in about a second behind Russell. Yeah, he's doing a 28.7, and Russell has done a 27.6. Yeah, I mean, like, we haven't really seen, um, I mean, like, Mercedes is doing it's done a 118. Verstappen's done a 118. I mean, they're within it. Verstappen's within a second of of Mercedes. But again, this is practice. It's not qualification. Um, my gut feeling is there's probably another push um, in that car when they get to qualification. That is a good question about penalty points. So again, as people do bad things throughout the year and cause stuff to happen, like again, let's take Stroll back in Austin. I think he either got two. I think he got 2 points on the year. So he's got a total of 5 points. I don't know how many penalties. That's something I don't have on at my hands right away, but we can look that up. So the big thing, the number with penalty points, if you get 12 points, so essentially you get a point every month, you will get a one race ban. Basically, you're in a race ban if you get 12 more points within a year, and if you get more points, you can get um, more points. You can get more races if you continue to receive penalty points. So right now, Lewis Hamilton has no penalty points. Russell has four from the Austrian and the United States GP. Um, Again, this is from last weekend. Incident with science at turn one. Max Verstappen has five. Three of them coming from the Saudi Arabian GP. Sergio Perez has two from the Singapore GP this year. Uh, Leclerc has one from the Japanese GP. That's when he went off the track in Japan. Carlos Sainz, no penalty points. Lando, 1 point. leaving the track too many times at the Austrian GP this year. Ricardo has four, all from this year: Saudi, Miami, Hungary. Fernando Alonso has four from Miami. Has two. Miami, actually three for me. He's got a collision in Gasly, and then he left the track. So 3 points at Miami, and then 1 point from Canadian. Arcon from Bahrain, Monaco, and the French GP. Pierre has nine, so he's got 9 points. So he's closer than a lot of other people. Uh, the two from the Spanish GP, collision with Stroll in turn one. Austrian GP 2 points. Collision with Vettel in turn four. Austrian GP one another point. Leaving the track without leaving the track multiple times. Japanese GP speeding on the red flag conditions. That is the one that is the most questionable. And then 2 more points. Fell more than 10 lengths behind the safety car behind the safety car period. So he's at 9 points. He's got 3 more points before he gets a race ban. His teammate Yuki Tsunoda has 8 points. Let me see. Brazil 2 points. Saudi Arabia 2 points. British Grand Prix 2 points. And Italian Grand Prix 2 points. Vettel has 2 penalty points. Austria and the Dutch GP 1 point each. Stroll has 5. He picked up 2 in the for his. Though again, I mentioned that he picked up the 2 points from the Austrian race. Alex Albon has 7 penalty points. Latifi has 5 points. Bottas has 1 point, and Zhou has 4. Magnussen 3 points, and then Mick Schumacher with 1 point. So again, at this point right now, Pierre Gasly has 9 points, is the most, and his teammate has 8. So, not the best moments for the AlphaTauri team this year. We are about coming in on the 2-minute mark for the free practice. And again, leaderboard hasn't changed much. We've got Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Norris, and Bottas being in the top. Sonoda is probably the one change. He's in P9, Albon P10 right now, as people doing their final glory laps before qualification. It just either he was not Gasly's either had a bad session, or he has not been focused on the highest speed qualification. He's probably been, he may be doing other um he may have been doing other, because he showed up, he did, had some good laps, but not necessarily fast laps. So he may have been doing like race simulation, runs, as opposed to something else. And not necessarily a great one of the the Vettel, they're showing Vettel in the replay not having a great section through going through the stadium section, not having a great time and having a lockup through there. Stayed on track, but not a clean or smooth progression through that stadium section. So right now we've got a lot of teams doing an outlap right now. I mean, they're not really out there to do a lap per se. What they're doing is they're setting up for practice starts. Um, no, Verstappen's on the mat, is on track now. He's doing it. He's doing an outlap. He just crossed the line. So what's going on is he's going to go around the track again. And in a minute or so, they're going to start doing some practice starts at the start line. So FP3 has just ended. Again, they're going, people are on track. They're going to do practice starts. Yeah, Clerk is on a flying lap right now. Let's take a look. He is yellow in sector one, sector two. See how he comes in line. He's a second and an eighth slower than Russell. So no, again, P4. So no big movement there. So that was a attempt on Leclerc to do a flying lap for glory. Again, they're showing low speed Korean car performance rankings, and they go Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Bottas, and Sainz in those lower speed corners. So, um, so basically, again, P3 has ended. I want to thank you guys for coming and watching and listening. There's good number of you. If you guys can just give a like on your way out, if you haven't yet, that'd be great for the channel and for this video. We will be having, again, this is Grash. Again, I'm from the United States. I'm in because no one else is commentating today, unfortunately. But we will be doing qualification in about 2 hours. Um, we will start about like an hour and 45 minutes from now. Uh, but I know during qualifications, we will have Ryan doing qualifications during that time. And let me just try and just look at anything else. Um, Again, not much happened during this session. If you guys are just arriving at the last minute right now, um, basically we've got Russell Hamilton doing P1, P2, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz running out the next four. Yeah, again, you guys are going to see people on the map because they're doing practice runs right now. Their practice starts right now. And that's why you're seeing them stopped at the start line and then taking off. And that's going to happen for another minute or so as they cycle through doing practice starts. If you look on the stream right now, you can see from Leclerc that people are taking off. The lighting is going. They're cycling through as they go up. Yeah, so not much to say in this session. I mean, people spun, but there was no accidents. There was no power units didn't explode. We didn't have a red flag. Unlike yesterday, both sessions ended with a red flag. So. All right. Again, qualification is in again. We'll be starting in about 2 hours. We'll be running starting about 15 minutes before that. So if you come back in about an hour and 45 minutes, we'll have we'll have qualification. Again, this has been Grash. I've been pleasure to do the free practice with you guys, and I will see you guys in chat in an hour and 45 minutes.